Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you generally just how to draw a just basic object in Monogame. To just draw an object in Monogame, it doesn't take much at all compared to, like OpenGL or DirectX. It's very straightforward as Monogame kind of just is a kind of just a wrapper for OpenGL. And so it's really simple, so let me show you. First of all, this is going to be an image we're going to be using. It's a 32-bit PNG image, 150 by 150 pixels. Just a single layer image, nothing too fancy here. Just a, I don't know, a snake thing or something. Who cares? And so what we do is we load the image into the content folder of our project here. You're going to want to select under Build Actions and set it to Content. And then under Quick Properties, copy to Output Directory. After that, you're going to want to declare 3 variables inside. This is a fresh Monogame OpenGL project, and you're going to want to create for this, in this case, test texture which is of type texture 2D, text box, which is of type rectangle, and a test vector 2, which is of vector 2. Now, the reason why we have a box and a vector is because I'm going to show you the 2 most basic ways to draw an image in Monogame. So we're going to go down here to under the Initialize section, and we're going to set the test box to be in the top left-hand corner at x0, y0, and to be 400 pixels wide and 400 pixels tall, which is larger than the original image, because I want to show you how using the rectangles can scale the image for you. But when you scale images, you do lose detail, so you always got to keep that in mind. The next thing also is the test texture 2. Not test texture 2, sorry. Test vector 2. We're just going to set this at the top left location will be at x500, y0, which will be right next to the box. Under the load content section, you see test texture equals content.load texture 2D inside of the angular brackets, and then the image name. And what this will do is it will load the data of the image into the test texture variable, and we'll basically just store all the texture detail, the red, green, blue, the alpha. It stores all that inside of there, and you can mess with that, or you can just use it as is, as we are going to do in this one. When you draw something in Monogame, you have to call spritebatch.begin and spritebatch.end before and then after. If you do not call this, it will throw errors and will not let it run. It always has to be called before you draw, and then end has to be called after you draw. So here you see the 2 different types of draw we're going to be using. This one here uses the test texture, the test box, and color.white. Color.white means we are not modifying the draw buffer or the draw buffer of the pixels of our object, which means it will stay the exact same color that you made it in Paint or whatever you use. And so, but you can always change it to like color.red, and it will shift the hue, or it will shift it in that color scheme. And then here we have test texture.test vector 2, and again color.white. The difference with the 2 is one can be scaled. You can say its location and then how wide and how tall it is, while the test vector just says where the top left corner of it is, but doesn't affect how wide and how tall it is. So let's draw it, or let's run the program. So as you see right here, it's compiling. Okay, here as you see, we have the 2 images. The left one is scaled using the box, and the right one remains unchanged. This is all it takes to generally just draw a single object. It doesn't take much code. Compared to OpenGL, which would be a ton of work, it's much shorter than that. And it allows you to, it makes it easier to make games while leaving you, the straight up code way of doing it instead of like Unity or something. Now, some people like using Unity more because you can do all that other stuff with it. I prefer writing game engines and games from just pure line base and then running it and seeing how it looks. I don't know. I just feel more comfortable with that. But it's up to you on that. But this is just the general how to draw an object in the two most basic ways. And this is it for the first tutorial. So thank you for watching and please subscribe.